Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're going to be baffled by your fellow humans after watching this video. Karen tried to get me fired and landed in jail with her kid. So this happened a couple of years ago and the school staff and police stationed at the school still have a good laugh about it every now and then. This story could fit in another sub, but I felt like this one was best. Now, I work for the state justice system in a diversion program for juveniles. Part of my job requires me to ensure the youths are going to school and not getting into further trouble, so I tend to be at certain schools a lot due to some of the areas I cover being rural counties with normally only one main high school. Often, I just meet with the family and use at the school for convenience, for different reasons while being supervised by me. Normal parents of well-behaved kids have often mistaken me for staff, and I find it easier just to direct them to the staff they needed. At this point, I never really had a Karen run-in, at least in this situation. In some rural areas, the alternative school is still on the main school campus, but has its own small building where the students are basically in a jail-type school. They cannot leave without a staff escort beyond that building. They have their own bus, separate lunch, and cannot be on campus after student school hours for any reason, or participate in school events of any kind, or they face being arrested for trespassing. Now, students can find themselves in here for many reasons, and the school will send students to the alternative program for 45 days, as an alternative to out-of-school suspensions. Then there are students who are there permanently till they graduate for one reason or another. And finally, students who get felony charges in the community are placed here as well due to the school board policy, though may or may not be a permanent placement. During one of my visits while in the alternative class, a fight broke out. Not being school staff, I am not authorised to intervene unless I am being directly threatened. So, in the CCTV footage of the classroom, you can see me standing there calmly, twice taking a step back to avoid being caught in the scuffle and looking completely unfazed. Now, to the untrained eye, this is how it appears. But the officer who reviewed the footage even noticed that really, I was standing in a defensive tactical position, mainly because this kid was going crazy and was just swinging wildly at anyone who came close to him. To get the kid he was attacking, and he did strike the teacher trying to put a stop to the fight. So once the situation was under control, the school and school police officers go through the motions required, and of course parents are called. While I start my own reporting requirements for my job and work with the police doing statements, etc. In comes Karen, mother of the student Hulk who just rampaged a fellow classmate and was now detained in the back of a police car waiting paramedics to clear him before being transported to jail. Karen demanded to see the footage because she felt like her child was being targeted by staff and police and that he wasn't really the instigator but the victim. While watching and seeing that this isn't the case, she changed tactics and decided to target me by blaming the situation escalating the way it did because I didn't step in before or during the incident to stop it. Now, as a side note, I had my work cell in my possession and was responding to a parent that was running late to see me. And I was in the classroom to escort one of my youths to the meeting room as to not take school staff away for other needs on campus. Plus, it's just faster if I go and get them as I have the clearance to do so. This Karen incident occurred in the Dean's office, which is where I already was, and was asked to stay for one reason or another by the Dean and the officer when she came in to watch the footage. Altogether, this whole interaction after watching the footage was not even 5 minutes. K is Karen, M is me, D is the school dean, O is school resource officer. Karen suddenly turns her head around at me in quick exorcist style and begins rudely yelling at me. "Why are you just standing there and not doing your job?" "Excuse me?" Karen cut me off. I was honestly caught off guard by her, that I didn't really process what she said. "You're just calmly standing there the whole time and didn't do anything to stop the fight. Why were you even on your phone? If you were paying attention, this whole fight probably wouldn't have happened. I want you fired for neglecting your job and not protecting my child." "Ma'am, I don't work for the school." "Yes you do, and you need to be fired. I'm going to report you to the school board." She really isn't school staff. Karen quickly responds before the dean could even explain. "Then why was she even in the classroom? Only school staff and police officers can be in there." "Listen, she's like me and..." Karen cuts him off. "Yes, she was crazy enough to cut off a uniformed police officer mid-sentence." "That's a lie. I've seen her here all the time working and she's obviously not a police officer, so she is school staff." Now directing her runt at me again. "You should be fired for laziness and causing this fight." Yes, somehow her child going Hulk smash on a fellow classmate and destroying school property in the process was now all my fault. While my brain was processing the stupidity that was being uttered at me in the volume and pitch of what sounded like a velociraptor scream, the dean and officer tried to calm and redirect this crazy Karen, saying many more times that I wasn't school staff, and trying to explain my role was similar to the police officer and that I'm not employed by the school, but I do work at the school under the justice system and courts. I tried to tell her as well again that I didn't work for the school and that I wasn't allowed to intervene in this situation. Karen was having none of it, and at that point it was like talking to a brick wall in human form. There was a lot of back and forth conversations, velociraptor screams going on, that the other police officer came to see what was going on and ensure everyone, mainly his partner, was safe. That's when it happened. She works here and should be fired. This is all your fault that my son is being arrested. With this last proclamation, Karen picks the candy jar that was on the dean's desk and throws it at me. Now, luckily I have fast reactions, but in the process of protecting my face with my hand and arm, the jar broke and cut me significantly. At least it wasn't my face that got injured. It's weird how crazy people have that uncanny aim when throwing things in anger to hit the face and head. I've never been so smug watching police tackle a crazy person to the ground and handcuff them. Even though I don't work for the school, I am a state employee, just like school staff, and battery on a state employee where I live is a felony crime. Karen's screams at this point just become a bunch of nonsense mixed with cursing. To paraphrase it, she should be the one getting arrested and fired. This is all her fault, she works here. So Karen was loaded into the other police car and she went off with Hulk to jail for booking. In anticipation of a few question readers might have: 1. Yes, I pressed charges and Karen spent some quality time in prison among other court requirements. 2. Hulk ended up being placed with family in another county I worked and I got the pleasure of supervising him. Hulk was actually a pretty decent kid. He just had a very bad day and the kid he attacked was part of a gang that had been harassing him and he just finally snapped. Hence me calling him Hulk in this story. He was successful and joined the armed forces and is doing well in life and staying out of legal trouble at least. 3. My cuts healed and left minimal scarring. And 4. I wasn't just smug. I had Skyler O'Hara levels of resting bee-face smile as I escorted her away and again at her court hearing. I'm actually super satisfied that a Karen actually got arrested for once, and I'm glad the Hulk kid was able to turn his life around. And reading through the comments on this post, it looks like Karen got 5 years in jail. Very nice. That time I got confused for a drink cart waitress. So I was at the local casino over the weekend, having some fun and playing some games, and in general enjoying my hard-earned time off. Orbiting around the tables and slots in a small squad of attractive women in tight cleavage-bearing tops calling out their battle cry, "Coffee, tea or pop?" Pushes the cart, "Coffee, tea or pop?" I'm doing my thing, plunking down cash and groaning more often than cheering, but whatever, it's my money and I can do as I like with it. The complimentary drinks are all caffeinated, but they charge through the nose for the water and the like, and don't even ask about alcoholic drinks from the bar. Besides, they're brought from a different squad of attractive women in tight cleavage-bearing tops with their own rallying battle cry. "Beer, wine, highballs?" Walks down a bit. "Beer, wine, highballs?" Now, all of these details are important because I'm neither an attractive woman nor was I wearing a tight cleavage-bearing top. In fact, I'm a tall bearded man wearing an eye-scathingly bright half lava, half dayglow orange shirt. Under absolutely zero circumstances should I ever be confused with one of these waitresses. Or so I thought. After an embarrassingly long time, I decided to pack things up and get out of Dodge. All the sugary caffeinated drinks have finally caught up to me and I can almost feel the rot setting in. So I opt for an overpriced water bottle. I stop the drinks cart lady and make my transaction, and just as I'm lifting my profit for the evening up to my lips for some sweet bland water, I get a tug on my sleeve. I'll take one of those. Annoyed that my relief is interrupted, I turn to face my accoster, and I can immediately tell that she's been liberally enjoying the wares of the other half of the waitress army. She's looking at me like I should hop to it, and I just stare back at her. Well, I'm waiting. I look at the waitress at the other end of the cart, and she's just as shocked as I am. I look at the drunk lady, then roll my eyes over at the actual waitress. I glance down at my bright shirt, and mentally wonder, just how on God's green earth could someone mistake this as an official waitress wear? "Can you hear me?" comes the grating voice, and I can feel my teeth, already stunned by the sugary drinks earlier, wiggling in agony. She makes a "gimme that bottle" motion, and I finally decide I've had enough of this. Exactly how much have you had to drink in order to think that I'm part of the waitress staff here? I could have said more, but I honestly didn't have the energy in me for it. Her eyes instantly widened. Oh my god. And I could hear her pronounce it that way, before she wrapped her arms around me in apology. I'm proud of myself for just nodding and not doing more. Carefully peeling her off of me, I made my way away from that crazy lady, and I had the fortune to hear the actual drinks lady inform her that I had bought her last bottle of water. Plain water had never tasted so sweet as right then. I'm sure that was a super thirst-quenching water. Can anyone tell me what a highball is though? I've never heard of that one before. Sheltered? Stupid? Both? Who knows? First time poster here, long time lurker as they tend to usually be. This past weekend I encountered a woman who I'm pretty certain, based on this small interaction, has never taken public transit in her life, or possibly ever dealt with customer service staff, or just might be plain stupid. You decide. I live in a large city with a huge metropolitan area that for people like me without a car, use trains and other public transit to get around. I visit my partner on weekends, and the whole trip, if everything is running on time, takes me about 2 hours. It's a 37-mile trip, and the trains are usually run by our favourite servicemen, Major Delays, so I'm typically rushing to make sure I get the earliest trains out of the city. Picture me, dressed in jeans, dirty sneakers, a camo print top, earbuds in, and I'm elbow deep in a bag of McDonald's when a woman, probably in her mid to late 60s, with bottle blonde teased hair, a flamingo pink silk blouse, and huge gold hoop earrings, appears to be ending a conversation with someone, a person who I can plainly see is wearing a cap and a uniform, just like the employees and staff of the train station. Nevertheless, this woman waves me down and stops me from crossing the station to ask, "Do you work here?" It took me a second to figure out how to calmly answer this woman without asking her one of the following. Do I look like I work here, let alone any train station? Can you not see I'm occupied with eating and rushing through here? Like my arm is in this bag as I'm talking to you. Didn't you just finish talking to someone who works here? Did you already forget what they look like? Do you not have a good enough social awareness to realize that your actual question is slightly more important than whether or not I work there, given that this is an area where people are typically rushing? Hurry up and ask, lady. There were too many things here that I had a problem with that I could not properly put into one sentence, nor could I prioritize them. So instead, I put on my best customer service smile and go, "No, but maybe I can answer your question." Which is not wrong, it could have been something very simple. "Oh no, you don't work here," she says with a slight giggle in her voice, like it was a cute little misunderstanding, and she just waves me off. The whole exchange was maybe 12 to 15 seconds, and it didn't inconvenience me time-wise, but I would have much rather strolled right through with my chicken nuggets without her stopping me, especially after having seen her interact with a member of actual staff right before me. You know that feeling when your earbuds catch in the doorknob? It was that, but with a person. Okay, so that's all for r/IDontWorkHereLady. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord, and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching.